Hello everyone, this is Neha Tulsyan from Crescent Creation. Welcome to another video on my YouTube channel. Today's video is a little longer video. I'll try to cut it short, but then I figured since I have not been making a lot of videos lately, I just wanted to put in everything and just chat with you. Also, I created this video as a part of a hop. It's the Doodlebug Design Christmas Hop sponsored by Fresh and Renewed with Teresa. So if you're watching this video before December 18, 2021, you have a chance to win the giveaway. You just have to visit the blog post. The link is in the description box below and you will find the whole hop list in there. You have until December 18th to comment on each stop in the hop for a chance to win the giveaway. Now let's focus on the video. So here, as I said, it's a Doodlebug Design Christmas hop. So here I'm using a Doodlebug Design stamp set called Night Before Christmas, and I've stamped all the images from the stamp set onto a white cardstock that's Copic friendly, and here I'm coloring my images using Copic markers. I wanted to create something different than usual cards today. So I used my Fawn Snowglobe Magic Iris Add-on die, and instead of using it as an add-on die for my Magic Iris interactive card, I decided to use just that die stand alone to create an easel card and some tags or ornaments. So I'm going to show you some variations on how you can use this Fawn die in different ways and get some bang for your buck. And now for the coloring, I'm doing some very simple coloring today using 2 or 3 shades per color family, and I'm keeping it very traditional using more of greens and reds and browns all over my images, so I can focus more on the actual cards than the coloring of the images. All the colors used are listed on the screen. Also, I tried not to use a whole lot of colors. I took out some reds, greens, browns, some yellow and blue combinations, and you try to use that all over my images. That just creates a balance of color for all my images. And also when I'm trying to focus on something different, I like to color simple so that I don't have to think too much about coloring too. And if you're like me and you're still creating your Christmas cards to give to your friends and family, this could be a very great design for you. It looks like that you have put in hours of work, and it's very simple to create. It does not take a lot of materials too. If you have any Christmas themed stamp set or even ephemeras, you can use that, and just one die from Fawn does the job. And your recipient will end up having a beautiful easel card that they can display in their house, and also tags that they can use as ornaments and hang in their trees. Also, while I'm coloring these cute images, I would like to talk about what's been going on for this past month and why I have not been able to upload a whole lot of videos here. So we moved. Yes, we did. We found our own place just few weeks back, and we have been between moves, and it's been so tiring and exhausting. The whole packing and unpacking and setting up the house for holidays. Oh man, it's no easy job. I used to do this quite a lot. But for past few years we haven't moved. We are in one place, and we have a toddler now, and now I know why people say moving is so hard. It wasn't so hard ever. It was not easy. I wouldn't say moving was ever easy, but it wasn't this hard. I mean, this time I felt like the things are never gonna stop. It's like, where are all these things coming from? I keep packing them, but I still see so many stuff around my house. But now we're all moved. We still have a lot of boxes to unpack, but at least I have my basic craft room set up, and I have found a little bit of sanity because I am back to crafting, and hopefully I will be all settled in few weeks, and then I will be back to full-time crafting and uploading videos every now and then. Yeah, I wish that. Seriously, I have so many products that I have not even touched, and I have so many ideas to show you to create cards, but I just don't have enough time. Maybe I should share holiday cards all year long. What do you think about that? I think about this every year, but I haven't been able to do this. But I really feel that I should create more holiday cards all over the year. So towards the end of the year, I will have enough cards to send to everyone. I'm really thinking to do this. Maybe this could be my New Year resolution for 2022. What do you think? Would you like to join my New Year resolution and create holiday cards with me all year round? If enough people say yes to me in the comment section below, maybe we can create an event out of it and have like a live event on YouTube here where I show you how to create, and you can maybe just create with me or just come and chat with me on my live videos. So what do you think about this? What are your thoughts? Please let me know in the comment section below. So back to my coloring. I'm almost done coloring here. I'm towards the end, finishing up few more images here. And once I'm done, I'm gonna go ahead and cut these images using my scan and cut. And now, since I'm talking about my scan and cut, I would like to tell you about something about it. So I have been using my scan and cut for almost 2 or 3 years now, and I must say that I love my scan and cut. I have the scan and cut too. I bought it because I did not want to spend any more on the coordinating dies. I was like, I really needed this machine. I had heard that it is wonderful if you want to cut all your stamped images, and yes, it is. It's amazing. I have been cutting all my images using my scan and cut, and it cuts 99% of the images. Only a few of the images are such that you either have to use coordinating dies or it just does not work in scan and cut. But apart from that, I have not had any issues, and I haven't bought any coordinating dies for my stamp sets for a very long time. And if you just want to use scan and cut for this particular purpose, to cut your stamped images, you do not need the latest version. The scan and cut 2 is just perfect, and I do have the links, affiliate links in the description box below if you are looking for a machine for yourself. So here I'm done coloring all my images, and I'm using my black gel pen to darken up those eyes on all these images. It just brings the whole image back to life. And I'm using my white gel pen. I'm adding a dot on each eye to get that nice shine, and I'm also adding highlights. I'm gonna go ahead and cut these images off camera and keep them aside while I work on my card bases. So here I have my die cutting machine out, and I'm die cutting a card base for my easel card. I'm just using a regular A2 size note card here, which is a top folding note card, and I have placed the die in such a way that it does not cut the top part of my note card, and I end up with a snow globe shaped card base. To turn this into an easel card, you do not need any special tool, just your scoring tool. So here I have opened my card base, and I'm scoring the bottom part of this card base. And once I have my score line, I'm going to go ahead and fold it over. Now I can just glue another snow globe die cut at just the bottom of that fold, and that will create my easel card. It is that easy. But before I go ahead and glue this, I'm gonna first go ahead and prepare my card fronts, and then later come back and finish up the easel cards. So here I have die cut 2 more snow globes out of colored cardstock, and I'm inking one of them using Price Ribbon Distress Oxide ink. I'm using my blending brush to help me ink these die cuts, and I'm trying to keep the concentration towards the edges, so I have nice light color in the center, and that gives me a good blended look. I'm gonna do the same with the other die cut. This time I'm using black soot distress oxide ink. I'm just using a darker shade of ink compared to my die cut color so that I can get that beautiful gradient that I'm looking for. Once I'm done coloring, I'll bring both my die cuts together, and I'm not cleaning up the ink that's on my mat. Instead, I'm adding some water to it, and using a fan brush, I'm gonna splatter some of that ink onto both my die cuts to get some ink splatter all over. You can even go for darker ink splatters if you want, but I just wanted some subtle texture on both these globes, so this was good for me. Next, I wanted to add some white ink splatter, so here I'm using my Copic multi-liner ink and adding some water to dilute the ink a little bit, and then I'm going to use my fan brush and splatter the ink over both the globe die cuts. This just gives a very beautiful snowy effect to both these globe die cuts. Also, you can use any white paint that you have in hand. I've die cut few more of these globes out of white cardstock off camera, and here I am just creating two snowy hills using these globe die cuts and my scissors. The snow hills does not show so much in the end results, but I really like the addition of it to my scene. I feel that my scene looks finished when I add these snowy hills to these snow globes, but you can totally skip this part if you want. I've also die cut rest of the parts of the snow globe using white cardstock. So here I'm inking them using vintage photo distress oxide ink to add some color to those parts. Sometimes on pieces like this, when I'm not sure what color to use, I die cut them out of white cardstock, and later, depending on my scene, I color them using inks. Here for my snowy hills that I just trimmed using my scissors, I'm adding some color to them using some blue and purple color that's left on my blending brushes from earlier use. Now that my die cuts are all ready, I'm going to assemble them. So here I'm gonna go ahead and add some foam tape to these two brown pieces, and I'm gonna go ahead and glue them in place on the snow globe. Using my scissors, I have trimmed the foam tape in thin strips so that it fits behind these die cuts. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same for my other globe. I'm gonna create one of these into a shaker easel and one of them to just a simple easel card. Next, I'm going ahead and gluing the snow hill that I created earlier using some liquid glue. Now that my snow globes are ready, it's time to glue all the images. So here I'm just playing with the images and figuring out how I want my scene to look. This is my favorite part about card making. It's like all the colorful images are ready for you to put together, and you just have to go ahead and stage the scene. You get to do whatever you like. You create the scene whatever way you want it to be, which is just so cool. And I really liked that wreath image and the way it looked on top of that snow globe. So I decided to add it to both my snow globes. And once I have all my pieces laid down, I'm going to go ahead and glue them in place using some liquid glue and foam tape. So I used a combination of liquid glue and foam tape to glue these pieces in place. Now for one of the cards, which is just an easel card, I'm going to go ahead and glue it here to my card base, which we prepared earlier, and my easel card will be ready. The only thing to remember here is to add glue only to the bottom flap of the card base and not the whole front, or the complete card front will be glued to the card base and there will be no easel mechanism. I'm going to show that more clearly in my next card. So for my next card, I'm going to turn this into a shaker easel card. So here I'm preparing it to create the shaker. I'm adding some tape behind my card front and gluing a clear sheet, trimming off the excess sheet that's not covering the window. Next, I added lots of foam tape behind to create my shaker well. For the shaker materials, I'm using the embellishments from my store. I'm using Snow White seed beads and snowflakes in white and blue mix. If you're interested in the exact products, the link is in the description box below. Once done adding the shaker materials, it's time to close my shaker well. So here I'm using another piece of clear sheet and closing my shaker well, trimming off the excess clear sheet that's hanging off the snow globe, and then gluing a white die cut behind it to make it look all pretty. And next I'm going to go ahead and shake it to see if everything is working, and yes, it is. And it just looks beautiful as is. But we're going to turn it into an easel card. So here I have another card base that I've already scored. And you can see I added glue to only the bottom part of my card base. And here I'm going to go ahead and glue my card front to my card base. And that finishes my easel card. For the sentiment on both these cards, I did not want to use any other stamp set. I wanted to use just this stamp set, and there was not enough choice for me. So I decided to divide my sentiment in two parts, keeping the first part on the front of the card and the second to the inside of the card. So my sentiment reads Merry Christmas. Merry goes on the outside and Christmas out inside. Same with the Happy Holidays sentiment. And to stamp the holiday sentiment onto my die cut, I curved the stamp set a little bit, keeping the die cut as my guide, so my sentiment fits properly onto that die cut. And I have glued two of these die cuts together to give my sentiment a little bit of raise. I did not want to use foam tape because these sentiments are gonna go to the inside of my card, and you don't want too much of bulk in the inside of your card. Here I'm finishing the outside sentiment. I'm stamping Merry and Happy on two other die cuts. Since these sentiment die cuts are completely white, I wanted to add color to them. So here I'm using Fired Brick Distress Oxide ink and using my blending brush, adding color to all of these four die cuts. Once done inking, I'm going to go ahead and add some foam tape to the Happy and Merry die cuts because that's going to go to the outside of my card. And now I'm going to go ahead and glue them in place. Next, I'm going to go ahead and glue the inside sentiment using some double-sided tape. These sentiments die cuts also serves another purpose. They actually serve as a stopper for the easel card. Now make sure you glue them in such a way that helps your easel to stand. Now I'm taking some of that snowflakes and adding that to both my cards using some liquid glue. And this will finish both my easel cards. I really love how these both cards turned out, and I hope you do too. If you do give this a try, don't forget to tag me on your social medias and share with me what you created. And as I was gluing these snowflakes, I saw that I have so much of these images left out that I have colored, and I did not want them to go to waste. So I decided to glue two more of the images to the inside of both my cards. While gluing, I just made sure that they look pretty from the outside too, because these are window cards and you would be able to see whatever you glue inside from the outside too. And for my rest of the images, I decided to turn them into tags or ornaments. So here I'm going to show you how I created those. I had die cut a lot of these snow globes die cuts out of white cardstock. So here I'm picking up two of them and I'm inking up using some Distress Oxide inks. For the first one, I'm using Tattered Rose and Candied Apple Distress Oxide inks. Using my blending brush, I added Tattered Rose to the center of the globe, and I'm bringing in the Candied Apple from the edges to the inside, creating a dark to light effect from outside in. I blended back and forth between both the colors to get a good blend here. Next, I'm going to go ahead and spritz this using my distress sprayer and blot it dry using my paper towel. And then I'll go ahead and keep it aside to dry while I work on my second die cut. Before moving on to my second die cut piece, I went ahead and cleaned my mat off camera, and here I'm again using Distress Oxide inks to ink up my second die cut piece. I'm using Twisted Citron and Mowed Lawn Distress Oxide inks here and inking the same way, keeping the light color towards the center and the darker towards the edges. Next, I'm going to go ahead and spray some water using my distress sprayer and blot it dry using my paper towel and hit it with the heat tool off camera. Once both my die cuts are dried, I will go ahead and start assembling my tags. I decided to turn one of these tags into a shaker tag. So here I'm adding glue behind one of these tags using my ATG tool, and now I'm gluing some clear sheet behind, trimming off the excess clear sheet using my scissor. Next, I'm going to go ahead and apply some foam tape all over the back of this die cut. For this shaker, I have doubled up my tape here because I wanted to add a lot of shaker materials and I wanted my shaker materials to move quite nicely. Since this is going to be a tag, it's kind of going to be moved a lot, or people might just want to play with it. So you want to add enough space in your shaker well so that the shaker materials can shake properly. So here I've properly added foam tape behind this piece, and now it's time to add some shaker materials. Here I'm using the Merry Christmas Claybits from my store. It's a beautiful mix of all things Christmassy. Once done, I'm gonna go ahead and close the shaker well using some clear sheet, and now I'm gonna go ahead and glue a white die cut behind this to make everything look pretty. To turn this into a tag or an ornament, I need a place where I can thread in my ribbon or twine. So I decided to use the Stitched Circles tag die from Fawn. I die cut it out of white cardstock and I trimmed it in a V shape so that it fits my snow globe properly. Added some glue behind the snow globe, and then I'm gonna go ahead and glue that piece just behind, making sure it's centered and looks good from the front. And I'm going to go ahead and glue another piece of snow globe die cut behind to make it look all neat and clean. Next, I'm going to go ahead and start decorating the front of my snow globe. I did not want to add any more bulk to this tag, so I'm gluing all these pieces using some liquid glue. Gluing the images here in place. And then I'm going to keep this aside and work on my second tag. For my second tag, I thought of creating that into a spinner, but the tree I used to create the spinner was actually a big image. So it fits the window in my snow globe, but it does not really spin. But I was okay with it. I went ahead and glued it in place using the string as you would for a spinner card. And then I glued the rest of the images around it to create the tag. And since I was trying to create a spinner card, I glued two trees together, sandwiching the thread in between, so it looks beautiful from the front and the back. Here I'm stamping the sentiment directly to my tags. Since I did not use my stamping tool to stamp these sentiments, my sentiment did not come as black and crisp as I want them to be. So here I'm using my Copic multiliner pen and going over these sentiments to make them nice and black. I was a little scared that I would mess them, but I'm so glad I did not, and I love the results. And here is how they look once I'm done. I'm gonna go ahead and glue some Snowflake Claybits to both these tags using some liquid glue. To finish off these tags, I thread in some ribbon from my stash. And this is how it looks when it's all done. I added these bows to both my tags that I got from Dollar Tree. I'm just in love with these. Here are the bows that I got from Dollar Tree. And here is a quick look at all the 4 pieces that we did in this video today. I am absolutely in love with these. I did not imagine that they would look this beautiful. I hope you liked these cards and tags too and would give them a try. Also, don't forget to visit my blog post for more close-up photos and a chance to win the giveaway if you're watching this before December 18, 2021. Here are a few more videos that you might like to watch. Thank you for visiting. Have a nice day.